Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Cody Skinner. I'm a Nissan technician, have been for the past 10 years. Today I'm going to be replacing a HVAC case in a 2016 Nissan Maxima, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Okay, today we're going to put a HVAC case in a 16 Maxima. I'm going to try and film the whole thing and chop it up and post it. First, you want light. You need as much light as you can get. The first thing I like to do is take out the center console. These shifters have I call them a Jesus clip, because if you lose them, you're going to be praying to Jesus you find it. So I always replace the clip back on there so you don't lose it. These just pop up. You gotta be careful though, they don't break them. I'm gonna put the shifter down in drive so that way this piece comes off. Alright, these, all you have to do is disconnect these connectors. So you got those. Undo the shift lock solenoid connector, and then you should have a few up here. Always be careful of the gear shifter. Alright, next you're going to start taking your screws out. I learned before you don't have to take these side pieces off, but it does make it easier to get the console out, so I'm all about doing things the easier way. Now, a lot of people, keep up with their screws and stuff, they put a tray down here, but me, I just throw them all down on the floor because I've done this job enough times to know where they all go. Now I like to throw all my parts in the back seat so that way they don't get damaged.
You going back together?
No, I'm just starting. Oh. Alright, so you get all your screws out of the center console. You have two in the back. You have the screws that you saw up here earlier. You get those screws out. Move your shifter back down. Now this should, oh, well, hold on, forgot one more connector. Gotta get this connector down here. Boom. Now, it should come out with no problem. Alright, now that you get all your screws out of your center console, you want to ease it out. Whoa. I like to put them in the back and then pull them out from the back. To me, that's the easiest way to do it. And then set it to the side where it won't get damaged. Alright, when you get your center console out, you want to start taking all your trim pieces off. I like to always put all my stuff in the back seat. One, so it doesn't get lost. Two, so you know where it's at. Now you want to start getting all your screws out.
Again, if you've never done this job before, it's best to keep all your screws separate, whatever, put them in a container. I've done this job enough times to know what I need to do. You have two 10mm bolts down here that holds your hood latch cable in. When you get those bolts out, somebody's been in here before because we're missing a screw. You can pull all this off. Oh. Alright, you always want to get all your connectors out. I do have Pro Tools to get that stuff out with, but as you can see, it's easier to just do what I did. Now, as you see how I did that, you're not breaking it, you're just pulling it out. Alright, now we're just going to keep going, pulling everything else out. The hardest part about doing this job is when you're going back together, what part goes where first. Now, I struggled with that a lot when I first started doing this job. Because sometimes I would get in a hurry and want to do this part before that part, or vice versa. See how the radio's like behind this or in front of this, so you need to pull the radio out. But in order to pull the radio out, you have to pull this out. So it's a process. It's not hard, it just looks hard, especially if you've never done it before. It can be intimidating. Probably the most aggravating part of this job is the constant beeping noise, but to be honest, you really, when you start doing enough of these, you really get to the point where you're just ignoring it. You don't even hear it anymore. Alright, so we got that out. Now in order to get these radios out, you have 4 screws and they're silver. I always like to put the same color screws back. I don't know the purpose, but I like to make it like it just left the manufacturer. Now we got the radio out. You just unplug everything. Alright, so you see this pink tape? This pink tape does not go to the radio. Now this connector will fit in this plug, that's why you have to make sure you remember the pink tape does not go in the radio. Alright, so we got the radio out, we got our trim pieces out. Next we want to take our Alright, y'all want to see what a 3-foot long screwdriver is best for? Getting these screws way back here. works perfect. That's really the only reason why I bought this screwdriver. I mean, sure, it has other purposes, but that's the main reason why I bought it. Alright, now that we have those screws out, take the speedometer out. Now the beeping should stop. Boom, no more beeping, finally. Alright, now we're almost there. Next, we're going to take our pillars out on both sides. We're going to take the top cover off, and then we're going to move to that side over there. Alright, these pillars can be a little tricky getting them out. How I always do it is I take a long pair of needle nose pliers, take the clip, twist it, and then pull that out. And to me, that's the easiest way to get these out. And you just put it in the back, put these back up so it's not hanging down, getting in your way. Now, working up here by the windshield, you want to be real careful. It is so easy to crack these windshields. And if you crack a windshield, we have to pay for them. And when I say we, I mean the actual technician. Because so many people have cracked them over the years. The dealership just got tired of paying for them. So, same thing on this side. You want to get the pillar out. How do you get the pillar out? Take these green, whatever they're called, and twist them. And then you just want to pull this out. Oh, sometimes they get stuck. Now, to get these speakers out, you have these little bolts holding them in, and it's really hard to get to them. So I bought this tool because it's slim and you can get in there. Now this one has the base model, so there's not a speaker in here, but you got a speaker over there and you got this speaker. So take them out and I'll meet you on the next part. Now that you get your speakers out, you're pretty much done on this side of the car, so you want to move over to this side, get your speaker out, and then work towards getting your glove box out. You have 8 screws holding the glove box in. You have all these connectors you need to get out. The light, I just like to twist the light out. It's the easiest way to get it out, in my opinion. Set it down face up so it doesn't get scratched up. Now this stuff, a lot of people will say you don't have to or whatever, but I always do it just in case. Whenever you disconnect an airbag, always disconnect the battery, because there is a possibility, and you don't want to set off the airbags, because that would be an expensive repair. Alright, now that we have our hidden bolt out, we have the trays out, we have the support bar out. The next thing you want to do is remove your heater core hoses. To get to these easier, you can remove the intake or just have the right tools. See, I have this extra long set of needle nose that I use. It really makes the job easier. Sometimes. Now that I'm recording, it probably won't be as easy. No, I'm gonna have to use a different set. See how the clamp is a little further over? If it was lined up perfectly, I would be able to do it with these, but I can't. Alright, so we have our support bar taken off across the top. Next, we need to get these little trays out. Well, just this one. I think we can leave that one. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Remove that. I dropped the bolt. This is your film piece, and you see the bolt in there hidden. That is a 13mm. Okay, we got the dash out. Next thing we have to do is take this bar out, but we have this bolt hidden, so we have to take the windshield cowling. We have to take all that off to get to that bolt. But this is what we're trying to replace. Okay, so before you can take out your crash bar, you have to take off the wiper blades, this piece, and this bar right here, and there's a hidden bolt back there. I'll show you where the bolt is, but first we need to take this stuff off. So the wiper blades can be hard to get off sometimes because they get seized up. What I like to do is just push it down, wiggle it real good, and they usually come off. Same with this one. Just wiggle it real good and it'll eventually come off. Now, I like to use this tool. I use this tool for a lot of things. I'm not sponsored by Snap-on, so I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but definitely gets the job done. I don't worry about breaking these little clips because I have plenty more that I'll just reuse. That's your washer tube. Make sure you get your washer tube off. Alright, now with all your clips out, this thing will come right off. Okay, now we're gonna take the wiper motor off. The bolt is hidden back here behind this shiny piece of film. I don't know what that's called. So we're gonna take this off, take this bar off, and then we're gonna get to our heater hoses and our AC lines over there, and then we'll be done under the hood for now. I also have this long tool right here that's also used to remove hoses. You just stick it under the hose like this and just work it around, and then it should pull off easily. Oh yeah, like that. Super easy. So heater core hoses are removed. Now we have to get to this 10mm bolt down here on the expansion valve, remove those, and then we can go back inside the car and we'll be done on the outside. But it's okay because we also have this tool, and this tool will actually go down here. Let me see if I can show you. This is a good tool to use when you have hard to reach clamps. So you just lay it on top of the clamp as easy as you can, and then squeeze, 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 and boom, your clip is loose. come off. These are an old pair, so I should probably get some new ones soon. I've been using these for like probably 10 years now. Still does the job though. Alright, we're going to remove these hoses, and then we're going to remove our AC lines from the expansion valve, and I'll show how to do that in a second. Also, if you don't have a set of these hose removers, I guess is what they're called, I don't know, but they really come in handy, especially when you're dealing with stuck hoses that are aggravating. Real easy to use. You just grab the hose and twist it until it's loose. And then you can just pull the hose right off. Like that. You don't have to drain the coolant on these because not a lot of coolant is going to come out. Just remember to top your coolant off whenever you're done. Using these hose plier removers, whatever they're called, they really make things a lot easier. And like I said, you can take the intake off and make this job a lot easier. Alright, have our 13mm. Now, these right here, they're reverse thread, so you want to screw them in just a little bit to get the bar loose. I'll show you how to do that in a second. You have 3 bolts over on that side. Then you want to start taking your bolts out of your HVAC case and getting ready to pull the crash bar down. Very easy. Show you in a second. Alright, now you have these little hidden, well, these covers that hide the bolts that hold the crash bar on. You see they're right here. 13mm is what they are. No, they're 12. So get your 12mm. What the heck? Oh, sorry, that's a 14. No wonder. And I don't have a 13 in here, so. Okay, so I got all my bolts out of the crash bar. Screwing these in some so it will free the crash bar up. Be careful when you do this, because if not, you can turn these the wrong way, and trying to go back in, you will cross thread it. Don't ask me how I know that. So now that we have that loose, we can take the bolts out. I think on this one there's 4 bolts. Oh, I have to take this bracket off right here. Alright, so we got our bracket off. Alright, now our crash bar should be ready to come down. Alright, just go ahead and take this piece off. So, just pull that off. Again, set it where it won't break. Nobody should come walking through there. Alright. I need to drop the steering wheel. Forgot to do that. So then when I drop the steering wheel, well, I don't know. We'll see in a minute. Okay, we're at the last step. Now, this is loose. The only thing now is to wrestle it out without hitting the windshield and cracking the windshield, because you can see it is still a tight space. But that's about it. And then install is just the reverse order of everything you just did. Thank you for watching.